Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining our Facebook Live. I am Latoya Conway Hampton, Living Life After Abuse, and I am your host. So today I was asked to talk a little bit about what inspired me to do the work that I do, what was the hardest part for me in starting this business after I had the desire to give back and help, and what advice would I give the younger Latoya, the one that have no clue about running a business. And so I want to start up front at the top. What inspired me to want to give back to other women that's been affected by sexual abuse and domestic violence is that until I understood that I was not alone, I thought I was alone. I actually really thought that people couldn't understand what I went through and that I was the only one that had such a horrific childhood or even life as an adult. I thought that, no one else could possibly be going through the things that I've gone through. I felt alone. I felt scared. I remember leaving that shelter thinking like, wow, I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to go back because I had no option. A couple of reasons why I went back. For one is because I didn't know any better. I didn't know any different. Two, because at that point I had like 5 kids and they would not accommodate such a large family in the shelters that I was seeking. And 3, majority of the time that I called domestic violence shelters, they didn't have room for us at all, because we all know the need is great, but the services are minimal. So there was a lot of reasons why I kept going back, but I wanted to do something different. So the recovery process taught me that anything that you set your mind out to, that you can do, but you must first stay sober. You must at that point identify the part that you play in certain situations. And so I had to look at, why do I keep going back? And some of those things that I named, of course, and there's a few others that I haven't named. And so it inspired me to want to help other people do something different. Excuse me. So I began to study who I am. I began to really ask the hard questions to myself. What can I do to keep me out of that? What can I do to keep me out of that unhealthy relationship? And not until they took my children away from me and said, it's either him or them, did I make that concrete decision. And it wasn't when they took the kids, I'm gonna take your kids and you make a decision. It wasn't that way. It was they took the kids away from me. I snuck home and hung out with him. Then we went to court, and everything was said about me at court was I was a bad person. You was a drunk. It was you. And at that point I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And once I get out of it, I promise God I will go back and help every other woman that don't know any better. The treatment that I received when I was in child welfare was, I felt like I was the victim of the abusive relationship. However, when the child welfare got involved and they took my kids because they said, if you can't protect yourself, then you cannot protect your children. So the hardest part, as I went to say, is learning how to be a business person. So all of these years doing extravaganzas and running a house, I knew that it was important that I needed to have a business, and it's been my vision from day one. I always and still feel, and now it's morphing into something different, but it's the same. I have to have a shelter because my need was they couldn't accommodate me with all my children. However, now I still want a shelter, but this time it's going to be an Ashley safe house because of our fallen butterfly. So it's still the same but different. When I think about how good this process has been to me, I talked about the hard part. It's been a struggle. Learning how to do a 501c3, learning how to do all of these business plans, that stuff is hard. But the beauty of it is when you see a person come through the door one way, and then graduation comes, and she is so empowered, encouraged, educated, and inspired to live the life beyond her wildest dreams. And then she connect that with the fact that she's got sisters in 2 lifestyles. My job is done. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a wonderful day. I'm 2 Lifestyles, Living Life After Abuse, and I'm your host.